It's about an hour from the Tecumseh area. I love that line. All right. Well, this is what we've all been waiting for. We needed a little time to decompress. You needed time. David needed time. Rico is a rabid dog right now, so I'm Rico to center stage. I don't know what the hell we just watched, and maybe it's a microcosm of their season. I mean, Michigan just absolutely filled their diaper, getting run off the floor by Rutgers, scoring one basket in the last 15 or two baskets in the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, when we came into the studio, Hunter, during crosstalk, Hunter hit a three, and that was the second made basket for the second half that they had, with like a minute to go in the game.
So go ahead. Tell me where you want to go with this and how I can get us there, because I don't know what to say anymore. They have NBA talent. The Big Ten's going to get 10 teams in, and you're not in?
Yeah, because here's the thing. You had an opportunity. I think that Michigan, I don't know what I'm seeing, and I don't know what happened with this team either, but I do think they had an opportunity to close it out, to make the tournament, and I'm going to question that's something that Juwan Howard did, Mike, and it wasn't in this game. When he had the opportunity to put this thing away, he had to choose between winning games or playing my kid. He played his kid.
Uh-oh.
When Michigan, when Howard went out, going back to the Michigan State game, he goes out. For some reason, Joey Baker comes in, that lineup catches fire. They rally, they beat the Spartans at home. They then go to Rutgers, and they beat him with Baker in the lineup. And I'm not saying Baker is the key, but something, when you took Jet out, the offense got better. They were able to score points. When Jet got back in to the starting lineup, you needed to win one of the last three games. You know how many they won? None. They were 0-3. I look at this team, and I wonder what happened. As you said, you have NBA talent. You got Hunter, who is a really good first-team All-Big Ten player. How are you about to accept an invitation to the NIT? That, in my opinion, that's inexcusable. There is no way in the world this should have happened. And I think, given the end of the year, he chose playing his kid over winning one of those games. Because without him in the lineup, Kobe Buffkin just got so much better. And when he was in there, you saw Jet's game. Jet's more of an NBA type of player where he takes the ball and he's just, it's one-on-one type of thing. It's not team basketball. You don't get the ball down low to Hunter as much. Now, today they did. I don't know what happened in the second half. They just stopped going down low to him, because in the first half, I think Hunter had 15 points. He was unstoppable. It was a machine. And then, I don't know, this to me, this all falls on Juwan. I don't know what it is. He cannot put that talent that he has together, but you can't say that he doesn't have talent. He does. I look at this, and we talked. I do think that next year is his make or break, Mike, because this was inexcusable. You should have won. You should have been one of the top 4 seeds in this tournament. Plain and simple.
I think a lot of what Juwan Howard comes down to is how you view the COVID year. People can view it as whatever they want. I know Michigan fans are the biggest propagators of COVID was a fake year, that Mel Tucker didn't beat Harbaugh. Okay. Well, then in the same thing, you winning the Big Ten didn't happen. Going 23-5 in empty gyms didn't matter. Here's Juwan outside of the COVID year. And it's kind of gnarly, so buckle up. 55-41 overall. Has never won 20 games and has not made the tournament. Now, made it at 19-15 last year. They got in, they won 2 games, got bounced. 19-15, 17-14. And when the tournament got canceled, I don't know that they were getting in at 19-12. I'd have to go back and look at Joe Lunardi bracketology, but they were super bubbly. So I'm just saying, look, 2 NBA players in Jet and Buffkin, a borderline, a high-level college player in Hunter Dickinson. You don't get to 20 wins. I don't get that. And Rico, look, add in the fact that he's now 1-12 in one-score games. I don't think it's wrong to say that this is not what they signed up for. Now, look, if you think COVID was real and the 23-5 is totally legitimate and that's who he is, that's fine. I'm not going to yell at you. I don't know personally how I process whatever 3 years ago was. Was it empty stadium football? Was that real or not? I don't know, guys. I think we were all so desperate to just feel normal again that we valued it in the window. But looking back, it feels more inauthentic than authentic.
No. And I think what helps Juwan was for the last, he's made 5 straight Sweet 16s. He gets to the tournament.
Whoa. Hold on. 5 straight? What are you talking?
Well, I mean, aside from the year that's.
But Juwan had only started here in 19, and there was no tournament.
Okay.
And they weren't going to get in my mind. He made the Sweet 16 in the fake year, and he made it last year, and thank God, because they were 19 and 15. That's horrible. Now this year, they straight up don't make the tournament. Now, what Beeline did is what Beeline did. I am not giving Juwan credit for that. To hell with that. Sorry, I'm not coming at you for that, but I don't want to hear that mess. 5 straight Sweet 16. Not this guy.
Here's the thing, but I don't know. Because, David, I'll lean to you because you're the Michigan fan. I don't know why this thing went so wrong, but this team, this was supposedly the team. His players, Beeline's guys are gone. He's got in all his recruits, he brought in the top guys, and he went out and got the transfers, and this is what you're looking at. And I do think that part of the problem, late in the year, your team played better without your son in the game. It's not to say that you couldn't play him, but when he wasn't starting, you started winning. You became one of the hottest teams. You went from being an also-ran to one of the first 4 outs to some people had you in there in the play-in game. Jet comes back. His style is not conducive to college. His style is conducive to the NBA, and you saw it. You couldn't close out games because you know what you need to have in college, especially, Mike, as you see in the conference tournament, you need that closer. Who gets the ball? Who gets that final shot? With 30 seconds to go, who's going to have the ball?
Well, it should be Hunter.
And you don't. It should be. To me, it should be Kobe Buffkin. But Kobe has been so – he passed up the final shot against Illinois when he should have just drove it up the court. Why?
Indiana.
Because I think it was
Indiana.
Illinois. Oh, it was Indiana?
He threw it off Dickinson's kidneys.
Yes, it was. It was Indiana.
Every game it's something
Indiana.
different, though, to your point.
It was Indiana. So now I don't think that they know who the guy is on their team.
It's because Howard doesn't know.
Because I think that everybody's been told that it's Jed Howard, and it's not. It should be Hunter. It should be Kobe Buffkin. And that's been the problem all year. That's why Michigan can't close, because you don't know who to get the ball to. Plain and simple. At the end of a game, for MSU, if it ain't in Tyson Walker or A.J. Hogard, get it to them, because you shouldn't be touching it.
That's fair. It's fair. I look, the other problem in all of this, and it's something I've never been able to figure out. I don't care if you're a huge football fan, but what is it where this fan base cannot wrap their arms even remotely around their basketball program unless they're amazing? I don't get that. I'm not using the F word. I'm not going to say Juwan should be fired. I don't think that's fair. But I am with Rico that next year is a make or break season. This idea that you don't win 20 games, that you don't finish higher than 7th in the Big Ten, or in this case, you don't make the tournament at large, which I think is absurd at a program like Michigan. Look, next year, they have to have a real bounce-back year. And the problem is he's not recruiting. They don't have a top 75 player coming in. If you think you're going to make your team up completely of the portal, I think that's super dicey. Can work, usually doesn't. And
this is all you. All the Beeline guys are gone. You came in with the NBA experience.
He had the number 1 recruiting class. And again, if you want to put a banner up for the Sweet 16, it is your prerogative. You're not George Mason. You're not the Billikens of St. Louis. I don't put up banners for the Sweet 16.
No, you don't put up the banners, but I think it's because most people didn't think they were going to make the Sweet 16. So they were one of those.
You know what, though? Last year, buddy, I got news for you. They were as high as number 4 in the AP. Okay? and her fans were woofing and yapping, and they collapsed. And they got very fortunate to get in, and they got a freebie. We all said it. They got the easiest draw you could ever get against Colorado State, and they did their business. They had a nice comeback after CSU came back down to earth. The point I'm making is they had the number one class. They had the NBA talent. They underachieved. Now, winning 2 games in the tournament, see, I'm old school. That doesn't make up for being 9th in the Big Ten, creeping in the tournament.
No, but you know what it does? And I hate to say it, winning those 2 games in the tournament makes you a little bit better because you make it to the second weekend. And you know who hasn't made it to the second weekend in a long time?
MSU.
The other coach. So therefore you feel like
oh, and by the way,
19.
A coach that we rip his ass. So if you don't think it's fair to talk on these terms with Juwan, we talk that way with Tom Izzo.
Yeah.
And Tom's going to the Hall of Fame.
But
Juwan ain't.
But as you say, because a lot of Michigan fans aren't the diehard basketball fans, the fact that, well, we had a better season than State, so we win.
Yeah, but they didn't.
I know. Not this year. This year, yeah, I don't know what I saw, David.
See,
you're the Michigan guy.
Juwan Howard is simply a duck in a goldfish bowl. What I mean by that is,
did he just put a proverb on us or something?
What I mean by that
this is 2 duck references.
He's an NBA coach coaching in college. He has to understand he has to give X's and O's. He has to give strategy. He has to know when to bench a player, when to cut a player's minutes, because you know what? It doesn't work with this group here. He's not making those adjustments.
You got to know when to not run your starting point guard off.
Here's why I say that, because he started the first half by giving it to Dickinson.
Right.
Dickinson was hot. But here's what happened. Rutgers made the adjustment and started to trap and triple team Dickinson in the second half. And guess what Howard can't do? He didn't adjust to the adjustment. That's been happening all year, where our other team has a run and he can't fix it. He can't stop it because he doesn't make the adjustment.
David, if he's not a tactician and he's not a great recruiter, then what am I watching?
You are watching a guy that's a name, that's a Michigan man that has a job because of it.
I think he's got a personality and people like him.
And he from
Raised
the
by
beginning,
Chicago.
From the beginning, has relied on his assistants, which is fine. If that's what you do it. But you got to do better with it.
Well, maybe.
It reminded me of last year when they got better, when Phil Martelli took over the team. Same this year. When Joey Baker was in the lineup, and I'm not saying he's all world, but he was involved in the game. He was a 3-point threat.
Something was clicking, yes.
And, yeah, you saw in the Indiana, I mean, that was Illinois. He was wide open. It was like, Joey, really? That was the shot you have? Coach, I was cold. I haven't played all game. You took me out the starting lineup and put your kid back in there. 248-539-9797.
And I'll give Michigan fans some credit. A little bit of traffic on the phone lines. Ticket text coming through nicely. David, thumbs up. All right, let's rock and roll. Let's talk about it. 96.